Hi everybody, this is Christy from the Be the Light YouTube channel. As always, I thank you for stopping by and I continuously send you love. I wanted to just share a little bit of my heart. And I'm going to kind of go back to a time in my life here. Nothing serious, really, at least not for myself. My fitness journey began in 2015. I was 160 pounds overweight. I was very limited and immobile. I was immobile and very limited in what I could do in the very beginning. For a good period of this time of my immobility, because it was due to an auto accident, I had to use a walker for a good portion of this time. I also lost my ability to drive. My license was revoked as a result of the loss of functioning in my limbs. And of course, the inability to recall places. I had my pain and the medications caused me to lose memory. So I began in October of 2015, and I had to begin using the fascia blaster, which became a huge part of this journey. And I call it my healing journey because everything is being healed. My physical body had to be healed. My mind had to be healed. My heart had to be healed. And my spirit had to flourish. I began exercising eventually as I began to heal physically from my chronic pain. And I had to work my way up to becoming physically active. It happened. It took place. I did what I thought I could not do. I began lifting weights. I lost 160 pounds twice within this time frame, within like 4 years. I had some surgeries and I had to be put back into bedridden days. So I ended up gaining some weight again, mostly because of my mindset, falling back into my old habits and old beliefs. In 2017, I became a online health coach with Beachbody. Being able to lose weight on my own, figuring out what exercises I did on my own in my home. I figured that I could give back to society, to the people who were not just emotionally broken, but physically broken as a result of trauma, whatever it was. I figured it out, and I knew I had that type of wisdom to help others do so. And, of course, because I didn't have a degree in fitness, I thought that becoming a Beachbody coach would help open that door for me. I loved it. I was actually terrified, though, because I knew I had to learn something. I had to start reading. And I couldn't read, really, because what I read, I couldn't really read off of the page any longer. My mind was just so destroyed from my pain, my turmoil, and my memory loss that I just didn't think I could do it. And as I was reading all of this stuff, learning how to be this great fitness coach and learning about the practice of the business, I was reading it and I was like, there's just no way I'm going to remember it. And as I began I was helping other coaches in our coach group. I was answering every single question, not realizing that I actually did retain everything that I read. So I ended up, I really thought that I was going to become a fitness coach, not just an online fitness coach. I began online courses, and I wanted to really go out in the world one day and do this. I felt good. I felt confident that I could do this. A year into this already, I began having this sense that I don't think this is where I'm supposed to go. I continued as this online coach for another year, not really having my heart in it as I once did for that first year. But I still did it. I mostly did it because I didn't want to let the people down who I was coaching. And I didn't want to let myself down. I came to a point where I realized that if I continuously stick this out and not have my heart in it, I'm letting myself down that way. I'm sticking with something that no longer gives me peace and joy. So I decided to call it quits. But I still was physically active. I was still doing the programs. And then that's when another door began to open. They say when one door closes, another one opens. We have to close that door to tell God and this universe that we are ready for more. And that action of doing something differently is saying you're ready for more. That's when my spiritual growth journey began. I never expected it to lead me to this point. I had to push pause there because now I forgot why I was doing this video. All this talking. But I recalled. I didn't expect my journey to take this type of turn. And as I shifted over to this part of my journey, expanding on my spirit, of my purpose, of my higher self, expanding on my consciousness, I quickly began to open a door that my heart believed in this type of existence. My heart believed in this type of reality. But we have been so taught that it doesn't exist. That fairy tale land? That we used to pretend that we used to be in when we were kids? It's real. But I was really terrified in the beginning of it all because, again, we're trained to believe in what we see right before us. It's true. And that's not so. I began hearing, and I don't know why I feel like crying, me speaking about this again is a necessary process for me to moving on. I hope this is still recording. I'm getting a phone call. I heard a lot of name calling, words that really made me feel terrible. But I was really strong, even though it did hurt for a while, that I didn't allow those words. And again, why am I crying? Because I am not that person. I am not. I am very strong, and I believe in what I am doing. I know why I'm crying. It's just, I don't want you to think this because I still have pain in my heart, because I don't. I believed so much in this path that I chose to omit what I was hearing. Being on this journey, I have been taught that what others think of you and the words that they say, if whatever people do to you, it's not about you. It's about them. But when you believe it, but when you take it into your heart, you become that stuff. You take it in, and the cycle never stops. My spiritual growth journey has taken me away from a portion of my life that I thought would never stop. That's my physical activities. Other than, going outside and working in the yard or walking around, things like that. But really being physically active with exercise, and dedicating a certain amount of time every day. I loved that part. I really did. But we have to make sure that we are paying attention to the voice that is trying to guide us somewhere else. We'll never know what we can have, all of our accomplishments, who we can be, if we continuously stay in what we are comfortable with, or what we feel is normal or necessary. I used to need exercise as part of my anxiety and my worry, to release all of those emotions. I should have seen that early on, that I had so much baggage inside. I eventually did. So having to move away from exercise was a difficult choice. But I began to have that resistance, a reservation with it, that it just wasn't necessary for where I currently am. My daily focus became, how can I learn more about God? How can I learn more about consciousness, about emotions, awareness and mindfulness? And how can I listen to a voice that was speaking to me from within, that I knew was going to guide me properly? I really had to learn to trust every part of this process, whether it was my physical health journey process, the ups and downs of gaining weight, gaining muscle, losing muscle, getting too skinny, looking just right. Everything is a process. Every workout program that you do has a different process, a different meal plan that has to be done, a different calorie index, a different macro, whatever it is you follow, a different routine, a different time frame, which says everywhere else in your life, things will always have to change. It will have to shift, and you have to shift and trust, along this way. I have probably felt in my heart for about 6 months that exercise was something that I should be doing. But then I also knew in my heart that when it was really time, I wouldn't have reservations about it. I wouldn't have that negative thought about it. I wouldn't dread getting it done. When you try to make yourself do it with a negative emotion involved, you're putting a resistance. When you learn about energy, you'll understand more of it. But you're putting a resistance against what you're trying to do. It's like, I'm going to love you today, but I'm still really angry at you. It's really not love if your anger is present. You're not doing it out of the goodness of your heart. You're not loving somebody with the pure intention of loving them, because there's anger. Like when we have an argument with our significant other and we hold on to it, and then they come around and try to hug you and kiss you to forget about it. But you can't let it go because you're still so angry inside. That's resistance, but you're still trying to love and hug, but your hug isn't pure. Your hug isn't, genuine. That's resistance around the love. It's the same thing. The process for wherever you are in your life is necessary. And then when you just trust it, it frees you from the burden that's on your shoulders, and it just allows a natural flow. You want to create the flow, the enjoyment of it all. And you will know when it's time to get going. I used to beat myself up that it took me, 16 years to get moving on something when I was immobile. But that 16 years of being low and down was really necessary. And then I knew when it was time. And I took the action, and I enjoyed that action. I enjoyed getting up and spending an hour, 2 hours a day, most of the time, being active, whether it was with fascia blasting or working out. I really put all of my heart into it. And when you can put all of your heart into your process, the process comes along quicker. A lot of people can't lose 160 pounds as quickly as I did. Twice within that time frame as well. I did it because I believed in it. And I loved that process. No matter how painful it was, no matter how much I cried because I was in so much pain, I continuously did it. Because I loved it. I loved how it made me feel. And that's how I feel here in my spiritual growth journey. I love what it's doing to me. Whether or not people understand what I am going through, that's not for me to really focus on. But whether or not you guys understand it, it doesn't matter. because I am doing what my heart and my soul needs for this process in my life, for this part of my life. And now here I am, a year and 8 months later, and I have been exercising now for 2 weeks, consistently, 5 days a week, no exceptions, between 20 to 30 minutes. And I am enjoying it. I knew this would come because God has planted that seed in my heart, that desire in my heart again. Whether or not I liked that idea in the beginning, when he was telling me, I was like, oh, I really don't want to. I know I need to because I'm feeling a little, physically tired sometimes, or my muscles are tight and I want to get more flexible again. But, I really enjoy what you're doing with me right now, God. And I want to continue right here. But I know I'm going to continue on this part because it is who I am. But now it's just time for me to expand more on who I am. And making my physical body feel as high as my spirit is. Our journeys are our own. And it's up to us to believe in it, put all of our heart into it, and trust it. And not worry about the chattering, the noise, the words of other people around us. This is Christy. Much love, health, and healing your way. I am bringing purpose to your life. Take care.